Hey class, it's Ashley, and I'm back with a live case study. Today, I'm going live with my mentee Tiara to talk about her $31,000 success story using strategies she used for Me Accelerator. I'm so excited to go live with Tiara to talk about how she leveraged the strategies in the Mentor Me Accelerator to advance her career, why she chose me as a mentor, and how I really support women in advancing their careers in the ways that they desire. I think one of the most challenging things about wanting to grow your career is like believing that it's possible for you, seeing pathways in which it's possible for you, seeing other women who look like you who are doing it, knowing how to do it, right? And those are all things that I work to make sure women know are believable and available and attainable to them. And I love when my mentees are willing to go live with me and share their story and just talk about the power and importance of mentorship and how we worked as mentees together. So I'm so thrilled for Tiara to join me in today's live. One of the reasons why I mentor high achieving professional women is because I believe that there's like a lot unsaid about the world of career. There's a lot unknown about the world of career. There's a lot of mystification about the world of career. There's a lot that, people don't know, and not knowing is dangerous. Not knowing can cost you a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy. And I always want to help women know more, right, about their career. I want to help women know that more is available to them. And I want to help guide them in the pathway towards knowing more in their career through mentorship. So that's why I do what I do. And I'm always just inspired, honestly, by my own mentees. I'm inspired by the women that I serve because I think that so often we don't know what's available to us. We don't know what's possible for us, or the things that we want and we desire, we just don't think are attainable for us. And it's not until we see someone who looks like us do it, or we see someone who we can relate to do it, or we meet a mentor who we feel confident can guide us through it, that we can really believe and trust, right? That what we want and what we desire for our career is actually available and attainable for us. Tiara is a mentee, like I said, that went through my Mentor Me Accelerator program. The Mentor Me Accelerator program, for those of you who are not familiar, is a 8-week career advancement program for professional women. I've been running that program for, nearly 3 years. Actually, it's 3 years this year. And that program and my mentorship has helped high achieving professional women garner more than $1 million in salary increases, raises, and promotions. I'm so proud of the work that I do and really helping women, high achieving professional women, really transform their career and do something more meaningful and more impactful in their career based on what they desire and what their skill sets are. Through the Mentor Me Accelerator program, I serve women across all different industries, women from corporate, nonprofit, educational leadership, banking and finance, healthcare. I've served women in aviation. I actually have had 2 female pilots in my program. So I have the honor of serving women across all different kinds of industries. And it's just always a joy to be able to help those women see pathways to continue career advancement. It looks like Tiara is in the room. Hey, Tiara, thanks so much for joining me here. I'm so excited to go live with you and talk about your experience in the Mentor Me Accelerator program. Hey, Tiara, welcome.
Hello. Can you hear and see me okay?
I can hear and see you fine. Thank you so much for joining this live. I'm so excited to dive in with you and talk about your experience in the Mentor Me Accelerator. I'm really honored to serve as your mentor and be able to serve women like you. And I'm excited to share your story and your experience in the Accelerator with this audience. I know folks are going to get a lot out of this conversation. So thanks for joining me.
Definitely.
Of course. All right.
So let's too. But yeah.
Yes, it's so good to see you. It's so good to see you. All right. So let's dive in. I want to talk about I want to talk about sort of where you were in your life and your career before you joined the Mentor Me Accelerator. Like, can you talk a little bit about just in general, right? Like where you were in in your career, maybe, where, what kind of industry you were in, what you were kind of thinking about in your career, what your desires were. Talk to folks about kind of where you were in your career before you joined the
Yeah,
accelerator.
definitely. Well, I work in health insurance. So healthcare industry as a whole is huge, but I'm in the insurance sector.
Mhm.
I'm going to be vague because I haven't, of course, notified my company yet. But I have been with my current company for over 8 years now, and it was definitely a way to get my foot in the door.
Mhm.
I had only had an associate's degree when I, came into the company, and worked on my bachelor's during my time here. In December, I finished that degree. Um, yeah, as you know. So that's when I was just like, all right, we have a lot more doors open to us now, and I've been here long enough, so it's time to make the next step. So, but as you know, I have put no focus into a strategy for my career itself. I had been in
Yeah.
school mode all this time and making sure I do the job I'm in well, and that was enough to balance. I never even thought about like, all right, well, how are you going to put yourself into the best position for the next
Mhm.
step? So
Yeah.
so that's when I
That's where you
moved
were.
into it.
Yeah. And I think, let me know, just throw some hearts up on the screen if anybody can relate. You talked about kind of, I got this job to get my foot in the door, right? And I think that
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot of people's strategy. Like, let me just get my foot in the door. Let me figure out how I can just, get my foot in the door and work my way up. And then you like wake up one day, you're like, wait, it's 8 years later. Like, I'm still
Yeah,
here. Like, wait a
exactly.
minute. I said I was gonna be here for 2 years, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I want to remind you and like let other people know that that's very common, and you're not alone in that. Like, lots of women, and I think that that's common language. Like, I'm gonna just start here, I'm gonna get my foot in the door, and then I'm gonna work my way up. The only challenge is, like you said, you start to have other priorities, which is really normal.
Mm-hmm.
You start to prioritize family, or you start to prioritize finishing another degree, or you start to prioritize your health. Maybe you have a health crisis. Like, things happen, life happens, and your career often takes a back burner. And then we wake up one day and we're like, I am not where I want to be in my career. I'm not making the kind of money I want to make. I'm not advancing right in the ways that I want. And obviously some great things came out of your time there. You were able to work on and complete a bachelor's degree, which is a major milestone for you. And we were
Mm-hmm.
so proud to help you celebrate that, just as you were entering the accelerator. But I think that it's true is that, like, once our priority, we kind of get our foot in the door, and then our priorities shift. And then we are like, oh my gosh, I need to focus on my career. Like, for me to make more money or have more impact or see higher level roles or just like do more meaningful work, like I need to kind of climb that ladder. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that what you're talking about is very common, right? That we our initial strategy isn't always long-term strategy, right? Like, and maybe it works for a season. It's like, okay, I got this, but then that season kind of extends way longer, right, than we initially anticipated. And so, like, let's talk about how you found me, or why you chose me as a mentor. I'd love for you to just share with folks why you chose me. Was there anything in particular about me or my approach to mentorship that made you say, you know what, I want to work with Ashley?
Mm-hmm. I will do one. Let me add to the last thing, just in case
Yes.
there's anybody else here that it will help. I come from a family background where everybody's very old school, meaning you secure a job with benefits and you stay there until you retire. So the
Yes.
thought of job hopping to like that was just foreign to me. So yeah, so that's where I was at. I was like, oh, this is a big company to work for. It has benefits, and I'm working full time for the first time in my life. And I thought that was everything, and
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was more available until I started having conversations. So I will say, for your current question, as far as why I chose you, I'm involved in the Black Girl Social Club, and
Woo woo,
one of
come
the
on,
ladies in it,
BGSC.
one of the ladies in it, put me on. She knew what I was looking for. I will say, especially in our community, I can't speak for others, there is it's taboo to talk about money and like
Yeah.
wanting more. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to just be content with like a good job, or that's,
Yeah.
people are just content, and some of us aren't happy. So, shout outs to her for being someone I could be vulnerable with in the first place, and just always keeping an eye out. So of course I didn't even know, career or professional mentoring was a thing. I thought you had to go out here and network and just
Yeah.
find a different kind, like not an actual program. So I loved
Yeah.
that because, you know, I come from school, coming straight out from school, going into something that's like laid out, and I don't know, it just, I don't know how to explain it. It was just like, it was, I didn't have to do any guessing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
I
love
love
that.
that. Yeah, there was a path, and I'm a planner big time. So I like that there was an actual path. And again, for me, the same way, if I was to choose a therapist or a doctor, I prefer it to be someone from my own community because they understand a lot of the struggles that we face that we don't even talk about. So,
Yeah.
and just some of those, just in my case, the limiting beliefs. And I guess my biggest thing, like I told you, like I don't come from a family who's
Yeah.
doing super well. So
Yeah.
you just having a full-time job and being able to pay the bills is, you know,
Like
a
a
lot. And
milestone.
apparently, yeah. And like I have little cousins that, like, me just leaving the country, that was goals for them. And it's just like, oh, this isn't even, I'm not even getting, I haven't even got started yet.
Yeah.
So
I love that, Tiara. That is
yeah.
so powerful. I just want to reiterate a couple of things you said that really resonated with me. Things that I can relate to as your mentor, like as a Black woman in America. And I know my audience will be able to relate to as well. So one, this idea that like, we come from a family of people who, you know, the goal is to like, you know, get a good paying job with benefits and stay there till 30 years until you literally are about to die and then try to retire. Like that is the goal. And this is why I always talk about contemporary career development strategy. I know sometimes it rubs the girls wrong, but I'm like, yo, auntie, best friend, cousin, mama, nephew cannot give you career advice because it's going to be career advice that's coming out of 1986. And it's just not going to drive results in your job search like contemporary career development strategy. So I love that you said that. And it's not that it may have worked for our grandparents and even for our parents, but it doesn't work for us. And there's nothing wrong with desiring more for your life and for your career. I think that a lot of Black women, like you talked about before working with me, they feel so guilty for wanting more. Well, you know, I make this much money and my job is nice to me and they don't cuss me out every day. So I guess I should stay here, you know, for the rest of my life. And it's like, girl, you could want more. You can want to earn 80, 90, $100,000. You can want, you know, unlimited PTO. You can want stock options. You can want more. There's more available. And I think a lot of times, like you said, until you get around somebody who just tells you that more is available or reminds you that more is available, or you see more being available in them, that you don't even know that. And so that's why I'm so honored that you are willing to go live with me and share your story and share your experience, because I think that we just don't even know what's available to us, right? Like I think like so for so many women, you know, they want, for example, talk to me about salary negotiations. I'm like, yeah, girl, let's talk about salary negotiations. Absolutely. I'm going to help you make more money. Like on average, my mentees like you see $30,000 salary increases after working with me for 8 weeks. Your salary increase is the literal average of my mentees. And there's so much more that you can get out of me, right? Like obviously we're going to help with the salary increase, but we're also going to be really focused on stock options. We're going to be focused on paid time off. We're going to be focused on education benefits. We're going to be focused on 401k. Like there's more than just money. And I guess I think it's important to say, because I think that like the money is important, and you know, helping women make more money is my favorite sport. And there's even more available. And I think that just telling women that there's more available helps them desire more for themselves, and then we can walk women into that. And your testimony absolutely does that. So let's talk a bit about limiting beliefs, because the title of the like little graphic that
I'm
I
the
said,
queen. I am the queen of that. Well, I was the queen.
Listen, Tiara came to me like, yeah, Ashley, so no, I can't do that. And no, I can't do that. And, you know, that's not going to work for me. And, you know, I don't believe that people can do that. And that's not, and I'm like, but Tiara, like it absolutely is available to you. Like the things that you want are available to you. And I remember telling you that over and over and over again. And I can see your skin crawling like, Ashley just want me to be successful. So can you talk a little bit about like, you know, obviously as a mentor, I taught you a lot of career development strategy, but we spent a lot of time talking about like mindset and just inviting you to change your mind about what was available to you as it relates to career development. Can you talk a little bit about the mindset shifts and kind of how I challenged you around your thoughts about your career?
I think it was just, the first thing was just realizing and I always have your voice in my head, and I found myself even saying it when I was in their interviews. But like that whole more is available thing.
Yes.
Or like in interviews that it would be like, oh, why are you looking for a new job? And it's like, well, I want to do X, Y, and Z, but it's not available in my current. Like I found myself turning into you a little bit with that.
Yes,
but
I love it.
That was the first thing. It was just kind of being awoken to that, and a lot of my experience with the people who were making a significant amount of money, they had a master's degree, or I don't know, were nurse practitioners or things like that. So I just didn't even know it was possible. So that was the first thing. So I'd say just the first thing was just getting exposure. And as far as the shift, another thing I remember from when I was in the program that I definitely started to adopt was kind of redefining what failure is. Because I found myself like avoiding, you even know, there was a point in time where I was even avoiding applying because I just didn't feel like I knew they weren't going to or whatever. So I just shifted failure. Failure for me became, and I realized the difference in how I felt from week to week. The failure became me not even trying.
Yeah.
I felt more guilty when I didn't bother trying than when I just didn't hear back or whatever. I started to notice that. So just redefining, what failure was for me. And I'll say something else that came probably in May or June after I ended the program was just being delusional. I remember being on the phone with someone because I was frustrated, and she was trying to guide me to what to look for, and even she was just like, oh, well, maybe look for some entry level and no.
So
I'm not accepting that. I'm just gonna be delusional and keep trying other stuff until
for sure.
I'm not accepting it. I can just, I'm just gonna live in my own little world where I just know. So so I'm just, from here on, I'm just gonna be delusional when it comes to my goals.
Yes,
all right,
absolutely.
if it doesn't happen right
I'm
away,
going to be imaginative, futuristic. If it's delusional for me to get a $30,000 salary increase, then honey, I'm delusional. But you weren't delusional. You did it, right? You literally did it. It wasn't a delusion. It wasn't you living in the clouds. You didn't have to go back to school and get a master's degree. You were able to use your existing degree, your existing experience, your existing expertise to see a massive salary increase. I mean, that's major. And, I think that, thank you for allowing me to challenge you. Thank you for allowing me to walk you through that shift. I think a lot of times, like you said, you're so scared of failure that you don't even try. You know what? I ain't gonna even try.
Yes.
I'm not even gonna do the work. I'm not gonna even invest in myself. I'm not gonna even hire a career coach, because what if it doesn't work? As if you staying stuck is an option. As if you staying where you are is working. We kind of get in our head around that. Well, what if it doesn't work? I've had women say, what if it doesn't work for me? And I'm like, I do this. I know what I'm doing. And you don't know what you're doing. So the odds are in your favor to invest, right? Yep. The odds are in your favor to get the help, because you already don't know what you're doing. What's worse than where you are right now?
And the other thing was, remember I kept saying, well, especially towards the end, effort over outcome. As long as you're doing whatever that, you're doing what you're supposed to, the opportunity that is meant for you will find you.
Yes.
Regardless.
Yes.
So I shifted to that. That is again how I redefine failure for me. Failure for me was just not trying.
Yeah. Right.
Not applying at all, or not browsing all of that. That was failure. It wasn't their reaction, because again, you always hear it from people, and you don't ever want to believe it when you're looking for a job. You're too stressed out. That sounds nice, but no. But it's not personal. If it's a no, you don't know what you're being protected from.
Right.
And then the other little thing, this or something better, there's a reason you've been waiting. Yes. And this one, it was so easy. The interview, it was the most comfortable interview I've had. It was conversation. We went over the scheduled time.
I love that.
It was that easy. And I didn't even want to get off because we were just so caught up. So
yeah.
When it is meant for you, it will be easy.
Yes.
And
I love that.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So you talked about effort over outcome and redefining your vision of failure through the program, I remember telling you, like, go out and fail. Like, let's try to fail 10 times this week. Let's go commit to failure, and then let's just be happily surprised when we win. Because I knew that you would win, but I needed you to like go through that process of like, go ahead and just commit to failing. Go ahead and commit to, you know, it may not work out. And then, but do the effort, do the work to get there. And I love that, effort over outcome. That's so beautifully said. So I want to talk more about the strategies in the program. You talked about the ease of this interview, like how flawless it was for you. Can you talk a bit, just for those who might be watching and are not familiar with the Mentor Me Accelerator program, can you talk a bit about some of the specific strategies that I taught that really you were able to implement to see success and growth in your career? You know, maybe there were strategies around job searching or speaking to your expertise or your interview strategy. I'm just wondering if you can kind of recall some of those or pull some of those out to kind of help women understand the kind of strategies we talk about in the program.
I think for me, the most impactful thing for me, like I said, I didn't, before, you know, enrolling in the program, I never gave any thought to my career. It was kind of just like, I was just apply for as many jobs as possible and whatever sticks. Like that was very much so my strategy beforehand. And like, oh, maybe there'll be a career or you can move up in that position or whatever. Like that was my strategy before. But like now it's the biggest takeaway from me. Like I can't even say it was the interview. It wasn't any of that because it all builds on each other. But the most critical part for me was just intention. Like figuring out, one of my favorite things was your 5 values.
Yeah, the values.
Out, like, that was the biggest thing for me. And it's like realizing that like you're not wrong for money being one of those. So like that's where the delusion came in, because like I'm not no. If this is my value, I'm going to be delusional. It's like no. So I'd say that, because like any position I looked at, whether or not it was something I had a history in or not, like I needed to see that like, is this aligned with what I really want? That was the most critical thing for me. I think a mix of that, and I remember another big one. Now I get the chance to implement it, but I remember the first 90 days.
Yeah,
like
first 90 days on the job.
Yeah, like with me, it was just like, oh, get through training and then do your job really well. But I didn't really give much thought to networking or, you know, take an initiative to, you know, do whatever. So try not to give away too much. But those are the two, I'd say biggies. Is just like intention, like being intentional, and that leads into like just how to jumpstart as a rock star and whatever
in a new role.
So
thanks for outlining that. So what Tiara talked about, 2 sessions that I teach in the Mentor Me Accelerator program. One is values. So really helping high achieving women understand what they care about in their career. Like I think that sometimes we do 1 or 2 things and both of them are wrong. We're like, I have my personal values and I have my career values, and neither shall the 2 meet. This is what I care about at home. This is what I care about at work. And we act like our lives are not integrated. Our lives are so integrated. And if we try to like separate them, then that's a problem. So you want to have an integrated career plan that includes your values and actually what you care about. And then the other thing is like kind of thinking about how money can be a value, and you're not a horrible greedy person for caring about how much money you make. I think that again, this spirit of gratitude has washed over Black women in the wrong way. It's like, girl, you can be grateful and be a high earner. Like both are available. Like it doesn't mean that you're a horrible person because you earn money. And so I'm so glad that you were able to talk a little bit about that, because I do think that catches a lot of women up. They feel like they can't do both. And you're an example of a woman of integrity, a smart, capable woman who also wants to be paid well for her work. And I'm so glad that I helped you kind of unearth that. And then like you said, be delusional about the things that you wanted for your career. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I have just a couple of other questions for you, and then we'll wrap. If anyone has questions for Tiara or me about mentorship, about career development, about the Mentor Me Accelerator program, put those questions in the little question bubble at the bottom of the screen, or you can just type them out in the chat. We are happy to answer questions for you. I want this to serve those who are attending well. So I want to talk about the investment, right? The investment of joining the Mentor Me Accelerator program. For a lot of women, that can be scary. Like they've never heard of mentorship. They've never paid, a professional to help them with their career. For some women, it feels like a really big investment. Can you talk a little bit about where your mindset was when you were making that investment, and any thoughts about the return on investment that you got?
Well, first off, we all, I mean, if you go to university, can we, do I even need to say anything else? Like, in comparison, and that stuff, all right, I'm gonna be real. I got more from working on the job than my degree ever taught me.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent thousands, of course, on the degree. So it's like, all right, if this is something I could have gone to YouTube University or been on a job experience for, and I paid all that, then cool. It's a pretty piece of paper. It was a means to the end. It was a way to check the box that, yes, I have a bachelor's when I apply for a position. That was that. But like, this one keeps giving. It just exposed me to a whole mindset. And like I said, in my case, I didn't have a strategy, like not a real one. So for me, that in itself was worth it. And honestly, like, Mentor Me messed me up so bad that I'm already, obviously this week I haven't started yet, but like over the next couple of months, I'm already going to be thinking about like what my next position is going to be. So like that's, yeah. So that, and it blew my mind because I just didn't have that at all. And I know I said it a couple times to you, but for the people watching, in our community, like financial literacy is non-existent. And that is, this program is the equivalent of that for your professional life. Mm-hmm. Because like I have people who are smart in my family, but there's not a lot of people with degrees. There aren't a lot of people who are in more senior positions, any leadership kind of positions, that kind of thing. So I didn't have the guidance. And in my case, like I don't mind. I'm a permanent nerd. Like I will be that my entire life, but I do not mind investing in my education, whether that be college or just my own life, just becoming a more well-rounded and a more developed woman. So for me, it was definitely worth it because like I said, I'm already thinking about the next job is going to be another at least 20K. Like
we love to see it. We love to see it. We're taking the elevator up. Like we're taking the elevator up. It's so funny. I just met, I don't know if you remember, Tiara, I don't know if you remember Kimberly. I think she was in the accelerator at the same time as you. So Kimmy completed the accelerator. She secured like a $64,000 salary increase, transitioning from marketing to like tech, project management tech. Like an amazing professional. She's been in that role for about 8 months, loving the role, doing great. And she's just like, yeah, but I feel like I could be making another 50K. So I think I'm gonna apply for this job.
Yep. It's like I will never feel stuck again. And I think that's the other thing I want to mention is like I didn't realize until I was in this program how much I was in the driver's seat on my career. And no, never again. I'm always gonna like, I think there's something in me where I'll regularly be looking at jobs and making sure like, all right, what are y'all looking for? Let me make sure I'm involved in whatever in my current position, and just even being my own advocate in my own job. I think a lot of it was like I've dealt with management that wasn't the best. I think we all have at some point, but like, so I never really advocated for myself or, you know, getting involved or whatever. It wasn't, I don't know. Before I ramble, I guess I'm trying to say is this program helped me realize that like what my experiences in my company have been is not the normal thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's powerful because I do think that sometimes, like we talk about limiting beliefs. So you only believe what you can see. You only believe what you know. You only believe what somebody told you. And until, you know, you get an interference, right? Until somebody says, hey, girl, you're being underpaid. Hey, girl, people who do your work are making $30,000 more than you. Hey, girl, like you can do more with your bachelor's degree. Hey, girl, like you could have stock options with this job. Like until you realize more is available to you, you will constantly be in a state of, oh, that's not available to me. Oh, people like me can't do that. Oh, that, you know, right. And so I'm just so honored that you're the type of woman who listens and you're the one type of woman who takes action, because it's not just through you getting a new perspective, but it's you taking action on the perspective. We hear things all the time. We like memes all the time. You know, my content is shared, you know, hundreds of times over, but it's the women who actually invest in themselves and take action on getting the help that they need that see these transformational results. So I just love to see it. So again, happy to take questions. If you have a question about mentorship, about the fields that Tiara works in, I'm happy to take those. You can just type your questions in the comment section. But the last question I have for you, Tiara, is what would you say to the woman who's maybe been watching me, following me online for months, maybe years, has thought about mentorship, but hasn't, invested, hasn't scheduled a call with me? Like, what would you say to the woman who's on the fence about getting help in her career?
Oh, just do it. Like, it's not even it's not. When I joined, I was just at a point where I didn't have direction, and I understood that sometimes you get that, and I don't know, maybe it comes with age too. So something I didn't know in my early 20s was like, invest in the people that know what the heck they're doing and what they're talking about, and the ones that like they have the track record to show for it. Like,
yeah,
it's I know you love, like, what is it? Your one of your values is ease. I remember that because yes. And sometimes, like, to have that ease, you're gonna have to invest. And like, I didn't have to sit here for a year and a half trying to figure it out all on my own. Like, I already have a full-time job. I don't need another one with
trying to figure out how to job search. Yeah.
Yeah. The job search itself is a lot of work. And then you want me to teach myself on, no, not to mention, it's nice to have somebody call you out. And I think I also enjoyed that during our like strategy sessions, I didn't feel so alone. You go, so, you're out here just trying to figure it out on your, by yourself. But you let the ideas of like, don't talk about it, don't talk to anybody, and then you get in the strategy sessions and you're like, you're not by yourself. You see other people that are dealing with the same things. And even some of them, in my case, like, they didn't even wait so long as long as I did to. So I'm like, all right, never again. We're not just going to be patient anymore. So it's just do it.
Yeah,
like,
just do it, like Nike, girl.
Yeah, just like, you invest in so many other things, and people, even if you are struggling, I've seen people invest in like a Chanel bag, and you don't even got, like, just put it into something that's actually gonna be worth it. And this will, like I said, it's not even just what's happened since whatever the last 6 months or so. No, not even. But it's gonna be like, the lessons I've learned here are gonna be taken further for me. So absolutely worth it.
Thank you for sharing that story. I think that, I think what's powerful about what you said is that when it comes to investing in yourself, there's like investing in yourself allows for ease, right? So you've been applying for jobs for weeks or months. You've been stuck in a job for 8 years, and now, you're like, I need to get out. Like, there's a pathway that involves ease that will help you make that transition more easily. Like, you can struggle at it for months or years by yourself, job searching off and on, or you can get the help that you need to actually see the salary increase that you desire and move on with your career, because there's more available to you. You secured this $30,000 salary increase, and you're like, okay, and so now I'm road mapping to my next, salary increase and my next road. Like, you're already road mapping, because like you said, I'm never going to be stuck again. I love that. And I'm so honored to serve as your mentor. Thank you for your willingness to share your story with me and with this audience. I know people are going to be blessed from hearing from you. I know people are going to be excited about joining this program because they see someone like them in you and in your experiences. So thank you so much for sharing. Is there anything that you want to share, maybe something I didn't ask you about, or anything that you want to share in closing?
The only thing I've not really related to the program, but that guilt over earning more and that whole thing, I'd say over the last couple of years, like, change your thinking over that too. Money is not evil. You're not a horrible person for wanting more. Money is a tool. That is what it is. At the end of the day, it's a tool. Like, you want the life of ease, you want to enjoy your vacations, you get away from the kids or expose your kids to more. You need the tool to do it. So, like, there's nothing wrong with wanting more, and it doesn't make you greedy or a horrible person. It's just, there's nothing wrong with not being content. Just because the people around you are, doesn't mean you have to be. And if anything, you might, it could be the same thing like with this program, you could be the person to expose them to more being available. So
Yeah.
don't,
Yeah.
I
You
don't,
talked a lot about that, right? Like coming from a family of people who maybe weren't in leadership positions, who didn't finish college, who, didn't earn lots of money, and the legacy that you have planted in your family. Like you are a legacy, like, right?
yeah,
Like you are a woman who maybe is the first person in this tax bracket in your family. You're the woman that is one of the first with a bachelor's degree in your family. Like your excellence is now going to create excellence. Your cousins are like, oh, we going out of the country too because Tiara went out of the country.
yeah, like it's doable.
Yes.
It's not impossible. It's not just the rich people that get to do it. Like you don't need to. I mean, hopefully the goal is to be a millionaire one day.
Right,
but
right.
you don't gotta.
We the new rich people.
Yes, but you don't have to wait to like start enjoying your life and just excelling in whatever it is that is important to you. You don't have to wait, and it's like just because you feel bad or if people don't like it, then they weren't supposed to be around anyways. Like they weren't doing anything for you. So like, were you really losing? You'll just get a new circle of people who are on your level, who aren't like into the gossiping and like they're trying to elevate themselves and put you on.
Yes. And
so.
Shout out to a new circle. Like I love being a part of Black Girl Social Club. It's a women of very like awesome women who I've been able to connect with, and I have mentees in that program, and those women pour into me as much as I hope I've served them. And so if you have a Black Girl Social Club in your community, you should look them up, or look up Black Girl Social Club, see if there's one in your local community. If you know you would benefit from mentorship in your career, if you are looking to earn a $30,000 plus salary increase over the next 2 months, I'd be excited to serve as your mentor and support you. And thank you again, Tiara, for joining me in this live. This was an absolute pleasure. So fun to do. And I'm just excited for all the continued growth and development and success in your career. Just again, so honored to serve as your mentor. So honored to help share your story with this audience. And thanks so much for joining me in today's live.
Of course. Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.